Over thousands of years, there were quite a few rulers of Egypt, but who was the first? Well, we have a few theories. We're going back to sometime between 3200 and 3000 BC when Upper and Lower Egypt were unified into a single kingdom, and before people start to freak out, yeah, go ahead and fix that. There you go. Remember, the Nile is one of those rivers that doesn't flow north to south, but rather south to north, so Upper Egypt is south of Lower Egypt. Also, you may have noticed that the title is First Egyptian Ruler, not Pharaoh. As we've covered on here before, the first ruler referred to as Pharaoh was Thutmose III. Before him, Pharaoh simply referred to the palace that they lived in. It would be like calling President Biden White House Biden. Rulers before that point were known as this, or this in actual hieroglyphics, which means of the sedge and the bee. The sedge and the bee being the symbols of Upper and Lower Egypt. And eventually it was shortened to just this. They even merged the two crowns, red and white, together to show unity. And I should add that all these names and such are in a dead language, so how to pronounce it is, pretty much just a guess. But who was the first one of these? Theory number 1, Narmer, or this in hieroglyphics. By the way, fun fact here, this box around here is a serif. It indicates that the name inside it is a royal name. By the end of the 3rd dynasty, it had been replaced with the more well-known cartouche. Anyway, so Narmer, which may or may not mean raging catfish, is believed to be the unifier and first king of Egypt, though we don't know much about him outside of several inscriptions which have been found as far away as Canaan. However, his name does not appear on the Turin or Abydos king lists, but we'll get to that in a minute. So if it wasn't Narmer, who was it? Theory number 2, Menes. Menes, meaning he who endures, is listed on those two known kings lists as the first ruler of Egypt. However, unlike Narmer, who we know very little about, but there's a decent amount of archaeological evidence of, we don't have much of that evidence for Menes. He's barely mentioned at all. In fact, he's pretty much only known for this ivory label that may or may not bear his name. It also bears another name. Theory number 3, Hor-Aha. Hor-Aha is listed as the second king on those two lists and is believed by many to be the son of Narmer. There's more evidence of him than of Menes, but he isn't mentioned outside of Egypt. We also have discovered his tomb. It's right next to the tomb of Narmer, we think. But the most likely theory here is theory number 4. All 3 men, or at least 2 of them, were the same person. See, rulers had royal or Nebti names and what were known as HORUS names. It's believed by many that Narmer was the HORUS name for Menes, which was the royal name. This would explain why Menes is on the king lists and Narmer isn't, because they're the same person, it just used the royal name. Some also argue that Menes and Hor-Aha were one and the same. We're pretty sure that Narmer and Hor-Aha were father and son. I mean, like I said, we're pretty sure we found their tombs, so we're also pretty sure that they were separate people. But we're still trying to figure out exactly how Menes works in there. Oh, and one last little tidbit here. Another kind of out of left field idea of who Narmer might have actually been was Kingscorpion or Skorpion II, who is believed to have been a ruler during the same time period. And yes, that's where the character from the Mummy sequel came from. Probably didn't look like this though.